This is an AI-generated podcast based on the article From the Ashes to the Boardroom, How Jesse Holsapple Built Blue Mountain Capital on Faith and Resilience, written by Apryl. The article link is in the show notes. Jesse, welcome to Kingdom Factor Collective. I'm really glad you're here.
Thanks for having me. I'm genuinely excited about this conversation.
So, I want to start at the very beginning because your story doesn't start with a business plan. It starts on a farm in Montana with your grandparents. Can you take me there?
Yeah, so my parents were young. They met on a fire line. My dad was a hotshot firefighter. My mom was on a wildland crew. And they just weren't ready for kids. No bitterness about it. That's just the truth. So my grandparents, already in their late 50s, drove over and basically said, "We're taking them back to the farm." And they did. Took in me and my two siblings. They've been married over 60 years now, and every Sunday they took us to church.
That's a remarkable act of love from your grandparents. But growing up in that situation, you've talked about feeling like a black sheep, like faith was real, but maybe not quite for you. Can you unpack that a little?
Right, yeah, I thought Jesus was awesome. I could see why this was amazing for other people. But, other kids are asking, why don't you live with your parents? Why are you different? And that gets inside your head. So there was this mental fight, like, no, that's for me too. That's exactly what it's built for. It just took time to actually claim it.
And then you spent your high school years in foster care, which is where you met this therapist. And the things she said to you on your last session, I read it and honestly, it stopped me. What did that moment feel like at 18?
I didn't fully understand it at the time. She'd been doing the work for 30 years, and at the end of my last session, she told me, given your faith and your resiliency, most people by this point find a reason to quit. You're not that way. And it's been a really cool thing to see. And I was 18, so I kind of just nodded. But those words lodged somewhere deep. And now, 15 years later, when a deal falls apart or cash is thin and I'm wondering if any of this is going to work, I reach back for them. I've been through worse. This is nothing. This is all me chasing an endeavor.
That's such a powerful reframe. You turn to that memory as a resource. So let's talk about Blue Mountain Capital, because you built this thing from the inside out. You wore every hat in private lending before you decided to build your own shop. What was the hardest part about actually doing it?
The gatekeeping, honestly. A lot of guys in this space don't want to tell you how to become a direct lender because you'd effectively become a competitor. So there's just a wall. And I prayed about it and kept pushing forward, and I trusted that if I was looking for answers that were meant for me, they'd show up. And they did, slowly, quietly, one door at a time. It wasn't fast, but here we are. 3 team members, soon 4, direct lending up to $5 million on permanent financing, building out the bridge side. It feels a little surreal sometimes, like you're kind of daydreaming, but we're building the thing. It's coming together.
I love that. Answers that were meant for you. That's a very specific kind of faith, right? It's not passive. You're still rowing, but you trust someone else is steering. Is that how you'd describe it?
That's exactly it. As long as I push forward and I'm rowing that boat, I know he's steering it. Whatever happens, happens. It's meant to be. But not for any lack of trying. Does that make sense? I'm not sitting back waiting for God to hand me a company. I'm grinding. But I'm not white-knuckling it either because I know the outcome isn't entirely mine to control.
Yeah, that tension is real. So how does your faith actually show up day to day, like practically, in the work?
So we just moved to Colorado Springs from Virginia, and before that, Montana, so we haven't put deep roots into a local church yet. We literally just had our first child a few weeks ago, so life is a lot right now. But faith for me right now looks like turning on a sermon on TV. And more than anything, it looks like just talking to God the way you talk to someone who already knows everything about you, because he does. He knows your heart. He hears your thoughts. So you might as well just have a conversation with him. I had one before this interview, honestly.
That's interesting because I think a lot of people carry this idea that prayer has to be formal, eloquent even, and you're describing something completely different.
Yeah, I used to think that too. Like you need the right words, the right opening. I don't believe that anymore. My prayers are conversations. Mid-drive, mid-laugh, mid-frustration, I'm talking out loud. And I'll be honest, I'm not a finished product. I get frustrated. I speak sharply when I should breathe and pray instead. I know that about myself. But I think that self-awareness is actually what real faith requires. Not performing righteousness, inviting God into the process of actually becoming something better. Let Him clean you out. And then the actions you're supposed to be taking, I believe they come.
Jesse, I want to close with something you said that I think is going to stick with a lot of people who are listening. Kingdom leaders who feel out of place or undeserving or not sure their dream is really theirs to chase. What would you say to them?
Pray about it and take stepping out in faith seriously. I wouldn't be here if I didn't step out in faith, and I mean that literally. Every relocation, every risk, every door that logic said was closed, I'm here because I walked through anyway. What's the worst that can happen? You fail? You're already failing if you don't step out. Walk into the room. Act like you belong there, because you do.
Jesse Holsapple, founder of Blue Mountain Capital, that is exactly the note I wanted to end on. Thank you so much for sharing your story, genuinely. And for everyone listening, the full article by Apryl is linked in the show notes. Go read it, it's worth your time. We'll see you next time on Kingdom Factor Collective.